Imagine a city so corrupt, so steeped in sin, that its destruction was sealed by fire raining from the heavens. This is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, a city so full of wealth, power, and beauty that travelers from distant lands would stop just to admire it. Streets lined with fine stone, marketplaces brimming with exotic goods, and houses that gleamed under the sun. On the surface, it was paradise. But beneath the splendor, darkness festered. The innocent cried for justice, and the wicked thrived on cruelty. This city and its twin would face a destruction so absolute, no stone would be left upon another. This is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Long ago, in the fertile valley near the Jordan River, Sodom and Gomorrah stood like jewels of civilization. They were admired, envied, and feared. Yet while their walls shimmered with wealth, their hearts were cold. Greed, pride, and violence ruled. Strangers were shunned, the weak oppressed, and evil was celebrated openly. The cries of the innocent reached heaven, and God's eyes were upon them, heavy with grief. Meanwhile, Abraham, a man of faith, sat quietly outside his tent in Mamre. The desert sun was high, and the air shimmered with heat. Suddenly, 3 figures appeared. Abraham bowed deeply, his heart filled with reverence. One was the Lord himself, taking human form, accompanied by angels. Abraham's voice trembled slightly, but was filled with respect. "My Lord, please rest, wash your feet, and let me prepare a meal for you," he said. As Abraham served them bread, the Lord spoke. "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great. Their sin is exceedingly grave. I must go down and see if what they have done is as terrible as reported." Abraham's heart raced. He dared to ask the unthinkable. "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous in the city, will you spare it?" God replied, "For their sake, I will not destroy it." Again, Abraham pleaded, "What if there are 40, 30, 20, even 10? And each time God's answer was the same: "Mercy will be shown for the sake of the righteous." This dialogue lasted hours, a profound dance between divine justice and human compassion, a lesson in the balance of judgment and mercy. As night fell, 2 angels arrived in Sodom. Lot, Abraham's nephew, rushed to welcome them, his heart pounding. He insisted they stay in his home, away from the dangers of the city streets. But the night was far from peaceful. The men of Sodom, driven by wicked desires, surrounded Lot's house. Their shouts and threats pierced the night air. Lot's voice shook as he pleaded, "Please, my brothers, do not do this evil thing." Even in desperation, Lot offered protection, a shocking act, offering his own daughters to save his guests. The angels struck the mob blind, chaos erupting outside, and they led Lot, his wife, and daughters out of the city. "Do not look back," they warned. Fear and urgency gripped them as they fled into the mountains, the first hints of destruction lighting the horizon. Before dawn, fire and brimstone rained from the heavens. Flames engulfed every building, every street, every field. People cried out in terror and disbelief, but it was too late. The cities, once proud and shining, vanished in an instant. Lot's wife, unable to resist a glance, became a pillar of salt, a haunting reminder of disobedience and attachment to sin. Lot and his daughters found temporary refuge in Zoar, a small town spared from the fiery judgment. Later, fearing for their lives, they fled further into a cave, and tragedy continued. Yet even in this darkness, God's mercy lingered, a reminder that salvation is available, but must be embraced. Sodom and Gomorrah became eternal symbols, warnings of what happens when pride, cruelty, and moral decay dominate a society. But their story is not just about punishment. It is about mercy, about God listening to Abraham, about warnings given before destruction, about opportunities for salvation. Today the echoes of Sodom and Gomorrah remain. Nations rise and fall. Cities grow rich and powerful. Corruption, arrogance, and moral decay continue. Luxury is celebrated while justice falters. Pride masquerades as confidence. The cries of the innocent still demand attention, and yet, hope remains. God still listens. God still saves. God still offers mercy to those willing to turn. The story challenges each of us. How will you live? Will you follow the crowd, blinded by temptation and arrogance? Or will you stand firm, even when surrounded by darkness? The story of Sodom is not just history, it is a mirror, a warning, a call to choose life over destruction, obedience over rebellion, mercy over selfishness. Every choice matters. Every act of kindness, every step of courage, every moment of faith matters. The fire from the heavens reminds us that consequences are real. But the mercy shown to Abraham and Lot reminds us that God is patient, watching, waiting, hoping we choose righteousness. So look around, reflect, ask yourself, am I building a Sodom in my own life? Or am I striving to be a light in the darkness, a voice for the innocent, a heart of mercy in a world full of fire? The choice is ours, every single day.